Iman here from Design by Iman, and today I'm going to show you 5 ways to create a beautiful Zoom background that'll blow your coworkers away. I don't know about you, but given the current situation, we are seeing a lot more Zoom backdrops. We see them on the news, we see them in our meetings, we see them on YouTube as well. And the truth is that not a lot of thought is given into those backgrounds, but they are a reflection of yourself. So let's jump right into point number 1 of how to create a beautiful Zoom backdrop. So the first point I want to talk about is actually the positioning of your desk. So before we can actually dress up that wall, we want to make sure that your desk is positioned appropriately. So what I see a lot is when you have a desk against a window and behind you is actually your entrance door to the room as well as your closet. This gives you no opportunity to actually dress up a wall, and no one wants to be staring at your entrance door or your closet. I also see the reverse, where you've got your desk in the middle of your room and then you've got the window behind you. And what that does is it will actually backlight you instead of front light you. So what it'll do is overexpose the back and it'll end up washing you out. So not only does it not give you an opportunity to dress up the wall because there's a window there, but the lighting will just be completely off. So what you want to do is actually position your desk in the middle of the room where you have an entire wall behind you. This will give you the most opportunity to dress up the wall, and you'll have the lighting coming in from the side. So that brings me to my next point, which is lighting. So again, you want to have your light coming in, hitting the side of your face, so it's coming in from the windows, and natural light is obviously the most ideal, but if you don't have the opportunity of natural light, you could either have a desk lamp where you have the light hitting your face, or you could also do a ring light, which is quite easy to purchase. You can purchase it off Amazon. I've also put in some examples here where you've got some LED lighting, which again, try to focus on having it hit your face rather than having a pot light on top of you. If you do have those pot lights, sometimes they will create a raccoon shadow under your eyes. So that's why it's really important to have the light hitting your face this way. And if you ever want to go with a little bit more of an expensive setup, you can always do multiple lights. So I've got 1 in front of me and then 2 on the side, and that actually really lights up your face, but it also lights up the room. So now that your desk is positioned properly and you've got the right light, step 3 is the background itself. So when you are thinking about your background, an important piece is to figure out first what is actually being shown in that background. So to do that, it's super easy. Just turn your camera on, figure out the angle that you're going to be sitting, and tape out what's behind you. So here I've framed out the area just by turning my camera on and figuring out how much of the screen is actually visible and what are clients or what are your coworkers looking at. Once you've determined what is actually being shown, that's when you can think about what you're going to be placing in that area. So a really affordable option is going with wallpaper. So here we've got some subtle wallpaper options of grays and beiges. We also have a beautiful mural here of a cherry blossom, which is another option, and these are both used in the same space. You could also go with something more geometric like black and white, or you can go with something a little bit more fun and abstract. Another option is actually doing molding. So it's a little bit more expensive than going with wallpaper, but molding is a great way to create a lot of detail. If you wanted to go with a lower budget option for molding, you can go with just simple 1-inch wood pieces. You can create any pattern and then just paint over it. If you wanted to do something a little bit more luxurious, I'd recommend going with plaster molding. So you can find a local plaster molding company that can help create any pattern that you want. Here we've got some beautiful floral pieces as well as something a little bit more geometric, which actually adds a really cool texture in the Zoom background. If molding is a little bit too simple, you can also do a combination of molding and art. So here we have molding with an art piece in the middle, and on this side here we've got molding with gold birds flying across the room. And if you have a higher budget, I would definitely go with a custom bookcase. So here we've got one that has metal dividers, which looks really cool and minimalistic. This one here has LED lighting, which adds a really cool element. This bookcase has a beautiful marble slab and is made out of all metal, which looks stunning. And here we have a geometric bookcase, so they've actually have all the partitions at an angle, which creates a really cool feel. And here are some interesting examples that show a neat zoom backdrop. Some have LED lighting. This one here has art with molding. Another option that you could go with is doing a gallery of frames. So you can do a combination of either the same frame, or you could do something like this, which has different frames. So basically, whether it's wallpaper or molding or art or frames, any of these options are amazing. It just depends on your budget and what speaks to you. So next up is personalization. So when you are speaking to someone on Zoom, they are looking at your background, and you want to make sure that your background is actually a reflection of you. For myself, I'm a designer, so I like to have plants or sculptural elements, more plants. So basically, whatever company or whatever business that you're involved in, or it could even be something more personal like family photos, but whatever you want to display is what's going to be in that background. A great way to do that is actually doing some floating shelving. So for example, imagine if you were in a company that sold beauty products, maybe you would want to have those displayed. So here we've got some floating shelving with beauty products in the corner, just to subtly show that this is what you're involved in. Another option is doing something like this, where you've got black frame shelving, and assuming this person is in the car business, they've got cute little toy cars. As an example, if you were a photographer, you may want to show some of your work behind you. This one here has a lot of framed photos, which actually have a lot of color and create a lot of dimension in the space. So if you're an editor, this is an amazing backdrop because you've got all your books right behind you and you're showing off what you've created. So here we have a fighter who is showing off some of his accomplishments, which is a great way to do that in a bookcase. Or you could even do something like this, where if you're really into music, you could have all of your favorite artists in framed artwork. So you just want to personalize your space a little bit more to show off who you are while also creating an amazing background. And last but not least is point number 5, which is furniture. So first I wanted to talk about chairs. If your chair does show up in your photo, you want to make sure that the back of your chair is actually attractive. In this setup, you can't actually see my chair because I'm sitting on a dining room chair, but if you're sitting in an office, you'll likely have a higher back chair. So here I picked out some chairs that I thought were really quite stunning. This one here has a really nice curve and detail in the back. Here is a channeled chair in leather. This one here has some interesting piping and I love the color. Or you could even do something like this in a velvet with a pop of color. So essentially, if you don't want your chair to be seen, then maybe go with something with a lower back. And if it is going to be seen, just make sure it's a stunning piece that fits with the rest of the space. So to recap, we talked about the positioning of your desk and making sure that it's in the middle of the room where you've got a full wall behind you. Step 2 was lighting, making sure you've got that natural light hitting your face, or if not, an external light. We talked about backgrounds and going with lots of different options like wallpaper or shelving or even some molding. Point number 4 was going with personalization and bringing in a little bit of you in the background. And last point was 5, which was having an awesome chair in the background as well and making sure that all the furniture pieces fit together. So as a whole, all these items are going to come together to create a beautiful backdrop. I'm sure you can think of some people that might need a little help with theirs, so be sure to share this video with them. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, and we'll be sure to see you on the next video.